Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
He's at the 20.
They should stop this one.
What you got? Domination, snot bubbles.
He throws, complete, touchdown. They've got him again. They've got him again. Sack Crumpler, what a throw, what a hit, what a catch.
Defense is just way too much for the count.
It's caught by Alshon Jeffrey for a touchdown. He pushes, touchdown. Jalen Carter, touchdown. A.J. Brown, a run. He's going to score.
It's a touchdown by Nick Foles. The train is in the end zone.
Touchdown.
Torrey Smith
In for the touchdown is Jefferson. Touchdown. Jalen Hurts.
Well, we've officially gotten through the first week of the season, and with the banner drop, new acquisitions, Jalen Carter, and the Birds looking at a new cornerback in free agency, the Birds have a lot going on. So let's dive right into it, and the Birds are officially gearing up for the Chiefs. But a quick recap of the game Thursday night. Because before a play could even be snapped, Jalen Carter gave Dak Prescott a welcome back to Philly hawk to a spit and proceeded to be ejected in the beginning of the game. And afterward, we got a full context of the entire situation once the footage was released and Dak was seen spitting in the direction of Carter first, in which Carter walked over to Dak, asked him, "Hey man, why you spit on me?" And Prescott said back to Carter, "Why would I spit on you?" Then Carter proceeded to spit on Dak Prescott. The ref seen it and automatically DQ'd Carter immediately. Now, I've been sitting around my phone waiting to see what was going to happen with him because he didn't play a full game in that game Thursday night. He couldn't be suspended, right? And that was my thoughts, but I was confirmed when today Adam Schefter reported that the Eagles will only be, well, the NFL will only be fining Jalen Carter $57,222 for spitting on Dak Prescott. The league will count the game that he was ejected for before getting a chance to play in as a suspension, so Carter won't miss any time. And hopefully this just doesn't happen again, because you can't be more boneheaded making a decision like that on week 1 of Thursday night. I don't give a damn who spit first or who spit worst. Don't spit on another player. The moment Dak spit in my direction as defensive tackle Jalen Carter, I know a lot of us do the woulda, coulda, shouldas. If I was him, I would have did this. If I was her, I would have did that. But if I was Jalen Carter, I would have been on Dak's ass all night. I would have been rushing his ass all night. And every time I hit him, I would have said, spit on that. But the fact that you walked up on him, approached him, spit on him, just made it even worse. I'm just happy that he's only going to get fined. So let's just move on, get this over with. Week 2, we're now going against the Chiefs, and we have to go in the Arrowhead. So let's just all calm down, get our minds right. Please, let's play smart, go win the game. Now back to the recap, as the game went completely downhill afterwards defensively in the secondary, in my opinion. I mean, there was some pressure on the quarterback, but the boys just couldn't get home on those pressures on the defensive line. I was happy to see Josh Uche, who got most pressures on Dak Prescott with 18 pass rush snaps, 4 pressures with the team lead in the 43.8% pass rush win percentage. The team lead. Looked great in the Eagles debut. Can't wait to see more of him. And I was also happy to see Jordan Davis. We got to applaud Jordan Davis. Let's give a shout out to JD. He got 98% of the snaps on the line, which was the most of his career. And just like Baldy said, and I quote, Davis was a force. Check this out.
Without question, Jordan Davis played his best game as an Eagle. There's very little. Here he is against Tyler Smith. Pushes the pocket, gets his hands up, tips the ball. I mean, it was one good play after another. Here he is on the zero technique, playing off of Tyler Booker right here, back, and swallows the back. He did that a bunch. But it was his pass rush and the volume of plays that he played last night. That was, here he is, just flattening down the line of scrimmage, all right, getting to Javonte Williams. But these pass rushes are legit right here. Like here he is beating the center right now. Now watch him bend and turn and chase Dak. Almost gets there. I know, in fact, he should have gotten there. Here he is right now. Like this should have been the Eagles' lone sack last night. Like it's excellent. Powers into BB right here. He's got Dak. Like this is going to keep him up at night. He should have 1 sack right there. He's got Dak right there. He's got to get him to the ground. But it happens. That was great. It was encouraging. How many snaps Jordan Davis played. He's in better shape, the lightest he's ever been, and it showed last night. He was a force.
But once the game began, what we seen happen in the secondary with Adoree Jackson is what we all already expected. CeeDee Lamb cooked Jackson all night long, and it was hard to watch.
Let the boy watch. He needs to learn the way I learned from my father, the way he learned from his father.
And had it not been for some bailout by CeeDee Lamb not catching 4 crucial passes that probably could have given the Cry Girls a lead in the link, and we seen this coming right after the ejection of Jalen Carter, I was so worried about where the pressure was going to come from on the defensive line. And once the drive started, Dak and Lamb walked down the field and scored 7 like it was nothing. I'm talking about immediate scores, no pressure. I knew my 40-point prediction at that moment of the Birds just wiping the floor with the girls in week 1. That prediction went completely out the window, and I had an egg on my face. But Breed of One really calmed me and maybe all of the Philly fans around the world down when he took the first drive on the field, making completion after completion. It was amazing. Hurts extended so many players on that drive, willing and dealing with Dallas Goedert in the ground game with Barkley, Shipley, and Dillon were really effective on third downs. And once we got into the red zone, Hurts capped the drive off with the rushing touchdown to tie the game 7-7. And man, from the very first run, it looked like Hurts was just picking up right where he left off in the Super Bowl with the fantastic running on the ground and going through his reads a bit more differently than he has in the past. Holding on to the ball, no. Hurts was reading the hell out of the field, and even I, who's not a film guru, could see the Cry Girls were trying to take away anything deep, and Hurts took whatever the defense gave him, especially the bomb down the numbers that we all knew and we all know that Hurts and AJ can really be a threat with. They did take that away, so not many passes to AJ Brown or Smitty, with Brown getting the least of the catches with only 1 catch and only 8 yards, leaving the game with his career low in yards and catches. And I'm not going to make a huge deal about that at all. I'm honestly cool with it. It's week 1. AJ is dealing with the hamstring. The Cry Girls were doing things defensively to take away certain things through 4 quarters. So the Birds had to live through the run and with quick passes and even non-designed QB runs, which constantly put Philly in great positions to score. I mean, Jalen ran 11 times for 65 yards with 2 touchdowns and a rating of 94.2 completion. And you know, that's not crazy numbers, but extremely effective, extremely efficient. And if it wasn't for Hurts and his legs, we probably would have lost that game. But it wasn't just Hurts. You know, Barkley came through as usual, putting up 60 yards and a 10-yard touchdown run. Philly put up 158 rushing yards altogether Thursday night, enough to get it done in week 1. And it was a battle with the Cry Girls all night. CeeDee Lamb cooking the door, going for 110 yards and 7 receptions, with his longest coming on a 32-yard bomb on that same first drive that Dallas put in position to score early in the first half. That same drive that Jalen Carter got ejected on, that was the drive that CeeDee Lamb got that 32-yard bomb on. But our regular stars shined like usual. Zach Bond, who stopped Cowboys running back Miles Sanders when he got a big break on a run. And look at the gap missed by Dory Jackson. Jesus, just horrible. But despite that horrible, I don't know what to call it, by Dory, Bond hawked the former Eagles running back down right before he could score, and even tried to punch the ball out before bringing Sanders down. So that was just an astounding production, astounding effort and execution. Most linebackers give up on those plays, but that's the difference between all pros and your average run-of-the-mill guys. And even more importantly, right after that big run by Sanders, but even better, stop by Bond, the boys had an even more impressive fumble forced by Jahad Campbell, in which Quinyon Mitchell recovered. I mean, the rookie was just flying around in his rookie debut, and this defense is just resilient and sound. I'm talking about guys just hunting on the defensive line. As I said before, not a lot of sacks, but a lot of pressure without Carter Thursday night. It was very great. Still a great performance overall by the defensive line. Could do some better with Carter. So week 2, we'll really be able to grade those guys. And we have to carve out some time in the show and show some huge love to our kicker. And I couldn't be more proud for any kicker this season more than I am for Elliott. Still have some more games. I know about 16, 17. I know, no doubt. But there was so much noise surrounding Elliott last season and in the offseason with the reported injury that he was facing, and the fans beginning to get a little anxious with the missed kicks in crucial games at crucial times last season, going as far as nicknaming him Missy Elliott. And I know, social media is undefeated, but it was really starting to get loud around Elliott. But besides that, my guy, my kicker, Jake Elliott, was on the money, going 3 for 3, making all of his kicks, and even a vital 58-yard field goal attempt, in which was good. That gave the Birds the lead. Jake the Mate is back.
Hello, boys! I'm
But wait, because you know we are Petty Delphia, so I also got to give another thanks and shout out to the former Eagle, former Birds, Miles Sanders. Forever an Eagle, Miles Sanders, for that crucial fumble. And right after that fumble began the delay of the Thursday night football game when lightning struck near the link, causing a 57-minute delay. And I mean, gee whiz, did this ever take all of the momentum out of the game. And I honestly think the Birds were getting ready to step on the gas, run tempo down the field, which would have featured A.J. Brown in the offense more. Think about it. Hurts and Brown on that quick slant, even those deep passes with Brown running down the numbers with a defender on his shoulder, and that was sure to happen on that drive. That could have happened right after the turnover, which should have gave the Birds 30 points, and had that happened, I think the boys would have been rolling afterward. But nevertheless, Quinyon Mitchell, Jahad Campbell, Reed Blankenship, and even Nolan Smith, despite that piss poor call by the refs in which Nolan got a huge stop in the backfield, but a flag was thrown on this taunting play. Come on, man. All right, listen. I understand that the NFL did put out a lot of rules, a lot of reports, and they did express that they were going to be cracking down on players for the taunting. I understood that, and which is why I was even more frustrated about the Jalen Carter spitting thing, because I was like, players, you should understand, like, those guys, the NFL league office, they are cracking down hard. They've put out so many reports. And even before the game, NFL insider Adam Schefter put out a report basically reminding everybody of what the rules were for this season. You know, it couldn't be more clear to the players, like, hey, we're not playing about this. But this play here with Nolan Smith, come on, man. We got to get a little bit more light there. I mean, that is just too much. We don't need a call right there. But either way it goes, those guys were our stars on the defense. Of course, we already knew those guys would step up, but late in the game, we really needed that. Once the game got even closer and the Cry Girls began to take the field in the last 2 minutes. And like I said, before these drops by CeeDee Lamb, if caught, could have been detrimental to the defense, but that Birds defense weren't just getting taken advantage of, because on one of these drops, it was supposed to be an interception by Quinyon Mitchell. It went right through his hands. The ball just slipped right through his fingers. Oh my God. That play would have just ended the game with 2 minutes left, and we could have got our players off the field right there. Can we please get our secondary players on the jug machine? I'm losing my mind. I hate when we get these almost interceptions. Like, please just catch the ball. Like, what is going on? I've seen about 2 or 3 missed INTs. Maybe one was a bang play, but man, if we could have just gotten one, taken advantage of one of those mistakes, that game was supposed to be a barn burner. But I give the Cry Girls their credit. You had to. They made it a really good game. And had you told me that the Birds weren't going to have their star defensive tackle in a crucial game against the Cowboys week 1, and that he would get ejected from the game before a snap was even played, I would have stepped on your big toe, because there's just no way. But woosah. And speaking of things happening before a play can be snapped, we did face some injuries with Ben Van Sumeren on just the first defensive snap of the game. Went down with an ACL injury, in which will officially end BVS's season. This is a big blow for the Eagles, because the Birds were looking to feature him in this offense as a fullback, and even owner Jeffrey Lurie expressed his desire for reinventing that position here in Philly. But have no fear, because Howie is here, and that brings me to the new acquisition and trade for the Birds after Howie traded a 5th and 6th round pick to the Jags, running back Tank Bigsby. And I've been speaking to people nonstop and even on standby near my phone, just anxiously waiting for the notification that Howie has signed someone for the cornerback position though. So at the time, I really was questioning this pick. The injury to BVS really did hurt the Birds, so maybe that's why we went and picked him up. He won't be at a fullback position, but he can fill in that running back room, seeing as though we've just lost a running back in the room. So I think if we can insert Bigsby in the lineup, get him familiar with Patullo's scheme, not one team will be able to just stop our ground game. No one will be able to stop our ground game. Tank Bigsby was a dog with the Jags. I mean, a dog. Coming off a 7-touchdown, 766-yard season in 2024. I'm pumped to see Bigsby in the backfield with the Birds. Let's go. I'm so happy for this trade. And we know that Howie has the picks to do it, and even more if he chooses, because after a report came out that the Birds were working out cornerback Mike Hilton, who's a former Bengal, an 8-year vet, plenty experience, but he's not coming off a year in terms of talent similar to Bigsby. So it'll be interesting to see what the Birds do with him in the secondary. Now, as we gear up for week 2, I want you guys to tell me score predictions. I need some score predictions in the chat. What do you think the score will be after we go into Arrowhead and face off against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl rematch? Not a Super Bowl rematch, but, you know, a Super Bowl, the same matchup as the Super, you know what I'm saying. But what do you think? Score predictions, let's get it down below in the chat now. We still have a couple more things to figure out as far as streaming, but don't worry. I promise you, we'll be around soon. Trying to get this week 2 stream going, trying to get it cranking up. Don't make any promises, won't make any promises as of now, but as I've said, we will cover everything over here at Eagle Centric. Have been a while since I've spoken to you guys. Been a long week, trying to get a lot of things going for this platform over here so we can have a lot of fun during the games. You know the routine. Like, comment, share. Thanks for watching once again. Be blessed. Go Birds.